All right, welcome back, and we appreciate you joining us. And of course, we got a lot to talk about. The parish president just informed us that the east side, East Homer Gym, will become a shelter. And so they're doing some things now that both parishes, you heard Charlotte Randolph and you heard the parish president also in Terrebonne Parish, this thing has intensified a little bit. Once again, it's not a Gustav, it's not a Katrina, but it is a Juan, it is a Hurricane Cindy type, with less winds, and it's a slow mover. So it's going to be a rain soaker. So we're just going to have to, go through it, batten the hatches down, and make this thing work. I mean, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. We have been through this a bunch of times. There's no easy way through it, but we will get through it. I promise you that. I know a lot of events have been hampered by this. I know a lot of you were looking forward to the Justin Moore concert, which Hillary Domingue and his radio station did a fantastic job of getting off the ground. That has been postponed. I think they're looking for another day. Look, trust me, I know promoting concerts, how much work goes in it, and my heart goes out to Hillary and his crew because I know they put a tremendous amount of work into that, and it's going to make them double work that now because they got to have it on another day. So I think if you haven't heard, that has been postponed from what I'm hearing. Also, the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, I think, is going on until Mayor Tim Mott makes a call on that, but it's going to be rainy, to say the least. All right, let's go through some maps if we can. There you see it. Look at the size of this thing, okay? And it's got a pretty good cloud cover with it. So this little thing sort of blew up, but thank God it's not coming down to Yucatan. It has a lot of time to develop, but nonetheless, it's if we could hold that shot right there, and I'm going to go to the map and just try to give everybody an idea if we can. This is really the center of, this is where they're saying that the center is going to go in at. So you can see everything to the right of the stick is St. Mary, Terrebonne, Lafourche, and Assumption's going to be splitting hairs with it, but everything to the right. And look, that's where all the activity is. I'll move my hand down. Everything to the left is sort of sheared off, and everything to the right are the intense storms. So we are gonna, no matter how you slice this thing, and I'll move back in position, no matter how you slice this thing, we're gonna get a lot of rain and a lot of activity right here in the HTV viewing area. Simple as that. We just have to deal with it. Let me take some phone calls if I can, and just to let everybody know that at the 6 o'clock hour, I'm going to bring you once again some news. Thank you, Josh. Josh handed me some coffee, and I can definitely use that. We're going to have some, once again, we broke you the story this afternoon that the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office has made an arrest in the hit and run and obstruction of justice of school teacher Kim Landry. We're going to have more information on that as we pass the 6 o'clock hour. So if you know anybody who was following that story, there was an arrest made. We have video on it. We'll show you that coming up at 6 o'clock. Back to the phone lines. HTV, welcome to the program. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Martin.
How you doing tonight?
Mr. Martin, a while back, maybe about a year or so ago, you had a gentleman that came on your program, and he was advertising the miniature bladders to put at doors.
Right.
Did you do any research on that? Or?
I did. I use them.
You use them? Did they work well?
They work well. I'm using some right now, as a matter of fact, on the DuPont's building, and they work pretty good. And I'm going blank right now that you asked me. I think my brain is just tired, but I'm going to get that information for you. But they do work.
You know,
Jason, you have the name again on that? We, yeah, what is it again? We're gonna find out. We both probably a little brain dead right now, but
Yeah,
we'll.
you know, we got to be dependent on sandbags.
Right.
Our country. We've been doing that for hundreds of years, I guess. Sandbags, we use them for floods, we use them for wars. Ever going to see a day where we're going to retire the sandbag?
No, but I know these work. They have a chemical in it. When the water hits it, it expands, and it just locks it all in, and it really sort of locks in under your door, and it works pretty good. When the water recedes, the bag goes down.
Yeah, you know, because sandbags are expensive to fill them. People pick them up, and then they're not returnable.
Right.
They discard them. Then the garbage people got to take most of them.
You're correct.
You know, if FEMA would get involved in this and make this affordable for every household, I believe we would have something that would eventually cut down on all these sandbags.
Well, I think you get a $1,000 rebate on your taxes or something of that nature, and I'm going to have to check. I remember there was some kind of benefit coming back that if you got these, and I think your insurance premium might even be adjusted.
Yeah, but I believe, you know, FEMA needs to get more involved in this and maybe pay some of this off while the working class people can afford some of this stuff.
Yeah, but we find out when FEMA gets involved, the money goes all over the place.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right, my man.
All right, I just hoping one day we can retire the sandbag.
You're right. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to get Jason to try to look that up. But God, it blows my mind right now. I can't think of the name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But we'll get it. HTV, welcome to Bayou Time. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
I was calling to find out, I always thought it was mandatory that they evacuated the rigs. And right now we have several family members that are stuck out there. What would happen, like, if they fall or get hurt? Is there any way for somebody to get out there to them?
Yeah, and you know, the rigs do a pretty good job of making sure. Now, trust me, I mean, this is not one of your biggest storms where I think all the rigs would probably make that call. I know a lot of them did, and I know you're probably calling because you have a loved one on the rig. I think they've probably been through a few squalls that are shortened, or the duration is smaller than this, or of equal strength. So I don't think the surge that this storm is producing is anything to be alarmed about on some of those rigs. So the rigs make the call, and I think they would have taken every precaution on that. So I'm just trying to give you the thought process that they just didn't keep them out there just to keep them, you know.
That certainly don't make me feel any better. I think
understand.
Something would happen, they're in trouble.
No, I understand totally, and that's a situation that, you know, you would probably have to have either your husband, whoever it is, your son, or whoever, take it up with their employer. But, you know, I'm sure they've been briefed on everything. I'm sure they know what's going on, and, you know, I wish them luck, and, you know, I don't think they should have major problems.
Okay, I don't know. It's just a shame that they put human life above, you know.
Yeah, no, and I understand your point. Understand your point, and it's well taken. But as far as now that they're out there, and if they're not in, you know, I just feel pretty good about this storm, that it's not a catastrophic storm to where you really have to. I know you're gonna worry. I mean, I can hear it in your voice.
Absolutely.
And you go worry till you see the face again. But you know, I'm just trying to ease your mind a little bit that it's not the worst of the worst.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good night. HTV, welcome to our coverage tonight. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Martin.
Yeah.
I think that fella that you're trying to bring up on that sandbag, that reusable sandbag.
Yeah.
If I remember right, that's Clay Shaw from Morgan City.
Say it again.
Clay Shaw.
Yeah, it's Clay Fondren.
Clay Fondren.
When you said Clay, it spurred on my Clay Fondren from Morgan City. That's correct.
Yeah, it's Clay Fondren.
Yes, indeed. I couldn't think of the name.
I watched that episode. I went to school with him, and I watched that episode. I don't remember what was going on at the time when he was talking about that.
Well, we had another event coming. Well, we had the river flooding.
Yeah.
And we brought him on for the river flooding, and Clay Fondren, that's it. We'll try to figure out his we're looking for it in the archives right now, but it works. I mean, I got a few bags and they seem to work, so we'll keep trying it.
Yeah, I was hoping him. I was wishing him luck on that invention there, and I went to school with him, and I didn't hear any more about where the location of the business is or anything.
Yeah, I think he does it out of a warehouse somewhere in the area. There's a distributor that he actually, I think, works for, and he is part of that, but he keeps it in a warehouse, and I know he's been trying to move that product for a long time, never really had any help from any agency, so he's trying to do it on a grassroots type of campaign.
Well, we haul plenty of sandbags. I know what sandbagging's like. I'd like to retire myself and get something that'd be a little more portable that I could store and put out when I need it, you know?
Right, absolutely. Well, all right, thank you for that. I appreciate you spurring my memory process again.
You're mighty welcome.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
HTV, welcome to our coverage. Go ahead, please.
I was calling to see if Houma has to evacuate.
The southern part of Terrebonne Parish is going to be on a voluntary evacuation mode. So if you feel like you want to evacuate, you can, but you're not obligated to do so.
All right. What about Lafourche Parish?
It's, I think Charlotte Randolph just came on. Same thing, voluntary evacuation. So you just have to make that call yourself, and everybody knows their own circumstance. So you know your house, you sort of know the history of it. So you make that call with your loved ones and you decide on your own. That's what that pretty much means.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. HTV, welcome to the program tonight. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Martin. How are you?
Good. How are you tonight?
This is Mike Pinell. I'm calling Martin out there. I'm 49 years young, and maybe you can help me out with some of the issues with this particular storm, since I've been watching your stick for quite a while.
Right.
Do you remember Juan when it sat up on Coon Point near Last Island, just kind of sat there and did like this one here is doing, is just dragging and
I remember Juan because it was the first storm I ever covered in 1985.
Well, I'll be diggity dog. We ain't gonna talk about age anymore.
I'm 51.
But you know that storm, what Juan did then, and it just kind of sat there and meandered and just did its thing. Is there a possibility this one here could possibly do the same thing and then come back and bite us?
Well, what Juan did, it came in on a high tide. It was a Category 1 hurricane. You're right, it sat there for 72 hours.
You're right.
Pumping water on a high tide, and it dropped a lot of rain. But the problem that Juan had that we don't have today is we have better levees today and we have better pump systems today. So it is a very similar storm. Juan, if I remember correctly, didn't have a big storm surge with it either, but it had a lot of rain. And
that's true, but we also had a lot more marsh too there, didn't we? At that particular time when Juan sat back there, didn't we have a little bit more of the island, and a little bit more of what we actually have out there now?
We did, but we have a bigger levee now. So the southern, if you're south of the levee, you're right. You're going to get some tidal surge, but you're not going to get a tremendous tidal surge. But I think Charlotte Randolph hit the nail on the head. This is more of a marriage between Juan and Cindy, Hurricane Juan and Hurricane Cindy, because it's a slow mover, but they project it to move, whereas Juan, you are absolutely correct, sat there and didn't move for 3 days.
Sat there and stayed there, and we spent the night up with colloid lamps, I can remember, just watching, and it just sat there until it decided it was going to do it. And I remember water to my waist, and remembered even watching a couple of water snakes out there come trying to get through that one there. And this one here just brought me back to the attention of Juan out of all the other hurricanes, because I've been through a bunch. But this one here, just Juan came right into mind because it's just sitting there and doing its thing.
Yeah, it did. And it's a good point. And but I guess what I could say is we made it through Juan, and we're going to make it through Lee.
You better believe it, and we made it through Katrina, and here we go. We're going to do it all over again.
Yeah.
But I just figured I'd bring that up to your attention, and it was just, and actually it was good to talk to you as well, too.
Well, thank you. But one thing I didn't have back in '85, I didn't have the stick in '85.
No, but I've been watching you ever since you had that stick, and I believe in the stick.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Martin, it was a pleasure talking to you, and y'all stay safe out there, and I'm so glad you're up there keeping us updated.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye.
And I do want to thank my crew, my hard-working crew. I always like to thank them because it gets frantic at times, and everybody's working hard. So thanks to them that we keep it going. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come right back after the break, and I'm going to bring you some news on Kim Landry, the school teacher who was hit. She was left for dead, and she's recovering now, but they have made an arrest in that hit and run. When we come back from the break, we'll show you that. You may want to call other school teachers and let them know it's right around the corner. We'll be right back.